Welcome, everybody, to the last great Coliseum. Bristol Motor Speedway awaits the drivers of the AT&T Cup Series for the fourth race of the 2025 campaign. Welcome, everyone, to the Cup Series on CBS. We're here to bring all 500 laps of action from Bristol, Tennessee. A wild 3 races to open the season, and the craziness is set to continue here for those that know about Bristol's popularity, its history. It is a place of short tempers, short fuses, but long-term memories. 3 races in, it's still anyone's game. Carmen Sienna following the win at Richmond a week ago. Top of the board, Victor Oldham and Violet Hale, Lotus Motorsport teammates. They sit second and third on the board. And it's Thomas Rogers, Penn Harrington, Kira Rigney, Celeste Sullivan, C.R. Christensen, Roberto Crown Jr., and Cole Matthews occupying the chase spots at the moment. Evangeline Porter, part-time effort for the 81 machine. Despite missing last week, still top 20 in points. Porter not here tonight either. Evie Pearson once again filling in the 81 car for Black Rose Racing. Delanna Delahaye in 12th ahead of Carissa Everett, your pole sitter on the grid. Outside pole sitter on the grid today. Celine Robinson, Taylor Cording sit top 15 ahead of Keisha Fox. Your Daytona 500 winner Daryl Bird, Ben Kreider, Megan Davenport, Wyatt Jones, who is back on the racetrack after spending last week in Melbourne, going Champ Car Racing. The full starting grid looks a little something like this. Rella Dominguez and Carissa Everett on the front row here in Bristol. Rella Dominguez won this race last time we were here back in 2022, trying to go back-to-back here in Thunder Valley. The rookie, Evie Pearson, we talked about her filling in the 81 car. She starts third alongside second in points, Victor Oldham the third. Kira Rigney and Megan Davenport, they sit in row 3 ahead of C.R. Christensen and Violet Hale, who make up row 4. Sonia Walker and Thomas Rogers, that's your 5th row of the field. Your top 10 is capped off there. Teammates there in row 6, Arrowhead Racing, Celine Robinson, and Keisha Fox make up that row. Roberta Crown Jr. and Wyatt Jones sit just behind them in row 7. Carmen Sienna and Gavin Gray will make up row 8 ahead of Fred Jones and Cole Matthews. Zoe Black and Matilda Atalanta make up row 10 to make up your top 20 of 40 cars in this field. Daryl Bird, your Daytona 500 winner, starts in 21st alongside Delanna Delahaye in row 11. Max Kuhn and Neola Force sit in row 12. Then it's Leo Carson and Ben Kreider in row 13. Ben Kreider's got company. His brother Jack right behind him in row 14. To Jack's inside is Edward Jackson. Shane Mendoza and Chris Pauly, they're in the top 15, row 15, that's your top 30. Tasha Wright and Satomi Ray make up row 16, and then it's Daniel Molina and Caitlin Hunter in row 17. Levi Allison and BK Glover sit in row 18. Jace Clark, Albert Nash in row 19. Dale Everett Jr. and Taylor Cording make up the last row 20 in this field. Big talking points there. Huge miss for Emerson Motorsports. 2 of their 3 cars not in this field. Celeste Sullivan and Cam Anderson failing to qualify for the race yesterday. Celeste Sullivan will take a hit in the points. The objective is to be top 35 by the end of next week's race in Nashville. It is almost showtime here in Thunder Valley. So let's go ahead and send a trackside for those most famous words in all of motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
And now it is showtime. From Thunder Valley, 40 cars, over 20,000 horsepower. Set to go racing. Dominguez, defending winner of this race, on pole position for his Vaporeon Motorsport. Chris Everett at the front of the field. The green flag flies. We're underway for the Food City 500 here in Bristol. Dominguez dropped the third. Everett leads the opening lap. From high above here. Dominguez, mirror full of the 81 of Pearson, who goes for a lunge towards third place. Still working on the 66 of Dominguez. Really good look from the center of the racetrack here in Bristol. Oldham right on the bumper of Everett. Pearson getting through for third. Had to muscle her way through. And does so. So Dominguez down to fourth. Davenport on the inside alongside Violet Hale, who's trying to make the outside lane work. There you go. Hale trying to get on through, get around the 66 of Dominguez, and uses the outside lane to do so. Dominguez flailing a little bit early on in this race. 3 wide. Rogers to the outside. Rigney to the inside. Davenport in the middle. They go 3 wide. A little bit of contact. Dominguez up in the fence with Rogers. Rogers pushes his way through. Top 3 have waltzed away at the moment. But it is all temporary because lap traffic will become a very regular occurrence here in Bristol. Everett, Oldham, and Pearson, your top 3. Violet Hale in 4th. Thomas Rogers rounds out your top 5 at the moment after shoehorning his way around the 66 of Riley Dominguez. Davenport made her way through. Dominguez now down in 7th, ahead of Rigney still. Keisha Fox in 9th. The battle for 10th between Sonia Walker and Sarah Christensen is currently leaning in the favor of the defending Cup Series champion at a turn 4. And you can see the grooves on the racetrack. There's 2 of them, and car in the fence. That is the 66 of Dominguez, who I think got moved by the 80. Physicality early in that car, that 66 machine for Dominguez, wearing some scars early here in Thunder Valley. That 66 car does not seem to be in an okay spot right now for Dominguez, who knows what it takes to win here. As we mentioned, defending winner, just struggling to put power down. Getting passed now by Robinson. Wyatt Jones is right there, the 25. And Roberto Crown Jr. in that mix. Points leader, Carmen Sienna in the conversation as well. Sienna on the charge around Jones. Running the outside lane, trying to find a way around Crown. Gets around Crown. And trouble. Dominguez does finally bring it down pit lane early. Rigney on the bumper of Davenport. About 4 laps a minute here, Bristol is what we're running with this 7th generation car. Pearson has gotten around Oldham for the 2nd spot. Car in trouble on the apron. It is Gavin Gray. And the caution does come out. So Gavin Gray could not make it back to pit lane under his own power. And that'll draw our first caution after 21 laps and engine failure. For the 53, we'll draw him as our first official retirement in this race as Dominguez comes back out onto the racetrack after they had to repair some damage. The 66 falling apart on race day is how things sorted out. Dominguez is 2 laps down. And the field will come along down pit lane now for our opening caution of the night. 1 car down, Gavin Gray's Honda giving up the ghost. 20 laps in out of 500, an early exit for him. The other 39 on the racetrack as we get ready to get back racing here in Bristol. Stay tuned. We'll step aside for our word from our local stations. This is the AT&T Cup Series on CBS. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Food City 500 about to get back underway. First caution of the night for an engine failure and a car stopped on racetrack. Gavin Gray out with an engine failure after just 20 laps. Chance to dial things in and get ready for this restart coming up. Everett and Pearson, front of the field. Pace car is in, and the green flag flies. Away we go, and Pearson with a rocket start. Pearson was chipping away at the front of the field. Got around Oldham before the caution came out. Gets around Everett on the restart. Now it's a battle between Hale and Everett, and Hale goes up to second. And cautions out in a big way. Trouble at Atalanta, among others. Trouble immediately. Darrell Bird in trouble. Max Kuhn, Darrell Everett Jr. also in trouble. What happened on this restart? Matilda Atalanta, mid-pack, travels up the racetrack here. They're trying to go 3 wide. This is exactly what happens. Everyone just trying to make hay. Chris Pauly, Atalanta's teammate, gets involved. And just trouble all the way around here. So a bunch of cars involved early. And the reset begins. So we'll figure out how things go from here. A couple cars stay out. Zoe Black staying out here. And should inherit the race lead. Everett Jackson also going for track position here. So just like that, we'll step aside for another quick break and come back after 60 seconds here in Bristol. A second caution, Matilda Atalanta and others involved on the back straightaway here in Bristol. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS, the Food City 500, here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Get ready to go back racing. Second caution, bringing us to our second restart of the evening. Zoe Black at the front of the field. It'll be Black and Celine Robinson leading the field to green under this restart. Fred Jones in third, Evie Pearson in fourth, Violet Hale fifth, and Kira Rigney in sixth is how they line up at the front of the field. Only one car out. Gavin Gray from the first caution. The green flag flies, and we're back underway here from Bristol. Thunder Valley is awake once again. Some drama further back, 3 wide. Atalanta in the middle. Daryl Bird trying to use the very far outside lane, and this does no effect. But it is Robinson out in front. Celine Robinson, Evie Pearson, and Zoe Black, your top 3. Here comes Kira Rigney for fourth. A little bit of contact there between Rigney and Fred Jones. Jones sends it down the inside, trying to hold on to that fourth spot. Won't be able to do so. Rigney goes through. Keisha Fox up into the 5th position. Sorry, into 6th, excuse me. Carmen Sienna in 7th. Thomas Rogers in 8th. Violet Hale dropped down the 9th ahead of her teammate, Victor Oldham the 3rd in 10th. Ciara Christensen in 11th. Battle for 12th between Jones and Everett. The 25 and the 3 side by side. Delahaye watching this battle go on as well, as everyone tries to settle back into a rhythm here. Outside lane for Fox, as the 2 teammates for Arrowhead Racing duke it out. In the 97, holds on to that 6th spot. 4 cars trying to break away. It is Robinson keeping Pearson, Black, and Rigney at bay. And Robinson defending that inside lane from Pearson. Pearson prefers the inside lane to pass. Gonna try it there, but Robinson is out of position. Older tires for the 98. Here comes the 11 using the resin on the bottom lane. Couldn't hook it up against the 98 that time. Robinson has a little bit of information to base off of on this battle against the 81. The 81 will go topside. And nothing Robinson could do there. Pearson back to the front. And slots back in line on the bottom of the racetrack there in that resin on the inside lane. So Pearson back in control of the race. Net positives, though, for Robinson and for Zoe Black if they can stay in the top 10 here with this shuffle of position that they have mustered through here. Tasha Wright on pit lane, trouble for the 90. Her Mercedes is in trouble early. And it looks like Tasha Wright getting ready to come back out of pit lane now, but will be several laps down as Pearson rounds the back straightaway. Pearson on fresh tires, Rigney on fresh tires, but with more traffic to deal with. And Robinson and Black have no interest in being a revolving door. Both Rigney and Pearson preferring the bottom lane of the racetrack right now. Keisha Fox preferring the outer lane. Fred Jones preferring the inside lane. So a difference of approach here at Bristol. One we haven't really seen a whole lot in recent years. This race, prior to the lockout and prior to the pandemic, was very much an upper lane dominant racetrack. It has been for the last several years. Now we're seeing the inside lane sort of be the prevailing line. But difference in choice. Car in pit lane, that is Caitlin Hunter down pit lane. Pearson with fresh air and clear real estate has walked away from Robinson in those older tires, as well as Zoe Black, who still remains second and third. Wyatt Jones has lost a little bit of touch there with Ciara Christensen in that battle with Carissa Everett for the 12th position, but Wyatt Jones held on to it. The more that these cars on older tires hold up, Kira Rigney and company, the more will stack this group up a little bit. And they may see some differing approaches one more time. Already a tenth of the way through the Food City 500. 50 laps completed. Pearson already to the bumper of Tasha Wright. Hearing the 90 car had tagged the wall earlier on in the race, hence the come down pit lane to check for damage and to replace those right side tires that may have been punctured from that contact with the fence. Same can be said for Caitlin Hunter as well. Caitlin Hunter now 4 laps down, Tasha Wright 3 laps down. And Evie Pearson trying to put Tasha Wright that 4th lap down right now. Jockeying for position here. Pearson goes to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to find a way around and muscle around the 90. Still working on it. Robinson in second. Has pulled away from Zoe Black, who's got a little bit of a head check there on Kira Rigney, who has to go to the outside lane. Powers through the outside lane. He gets around the 36, who almost, and Rigney smart enough to be aware of where Zoe Black's car was going to be. Avoided contact there on the follow-up by the 36. And now Rigney up into the 3rd spot. Car down pit lane. Atalanta, I do believe, is who that was. It is the 42 who was damaged in that second caution of the night. Side by side, Oldham and Christensen. They're going to continue to duke it out here. Outside lane's working for some. Inside lane working for others. Down the front straightaway. Christensen just has nowhere to go on the front of the straightaways here. Whereas Oldham can't really go anywhere on the corners. Trying to muscle their way through. It is currently a deadlock. As you see them working a little bit more on the back of Atalanta's machine. Oldham almost clear of the 87. Not quite. Here he goes. Absolutely sent it on the 24. As the 96 also used the outside lane, this time to go forward around teammate Keisha Fox. A really good example. Sienna's car working really well. All 3 Arrowhead cars looking a little bit better on the outside lane. But the Ludwig cars a lot more preferential towards the bottom of the racetrack right now. And we're seeing that. Violet Hale uses the outside lane to get around Thomas Rogers, who is beginning to linger back a little bit. Christensen also gets around, so Rogers now down into the 11th spot and Oldham in 12th. Rigney and Robinson trying to catch up to Evie Pearson, who is now working on the bulk of the lap traffic here. That's Mendoza going a lap down. Dominguez about to go another lap down. Pearson putting some work together here in Bristol. So Black behind Tasha Wright, not for position. Car in pit lane. Who is that down pit lane right now? That's the 34 of Daniel Molina. Coming out of pit lane now. Pearson going after Neola Force now. Trying to put the 31 a lap down and then does so. Robinson holding on to second place ahead of Rigney. Rigney in 3rd. So Black now in the 4th spot with pressure from Fred Jones behind. And the other 2 Arrowhead cars of Sienna and Fox, 6th and 7th. on the track. Violet Hale in 8th. Christensen in 9th. Rogers in 10th. Oldham in 11th. And look at this little battle. I think both Lobo cars have moved to the outside lane here, and they have. All three Lovett Motorsport cars in the top 13. Jones in the 13th spot, getting around Matilda Atalanta, who has removed the entire rear bumper from that 42 car. So they just tore the bumper right off there. That's why they pulled Atalanta down pit lane earlier. Everett now in the conversation here to try to get into the top 10. Oldham up to 9th, and the teammates will do battle here. Side by side out of turn 4. But they're all behind the 90 Atasha Wright. Rigney's got around Robinson and got around Dominguez. But the top 3 all in this pack of cars, trying to work through and put these cars a lap down. Pearson now behind teammate Leo Carson. There's all 3 Black Rose Racing cars, the 7 and the 77, both there with the 81. Pearson taking it a little bit easy on the teammates. But you do want to try to keep moving forward here, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I had Clark as Glover. And then you've got Daryl Bird in the 27th spot, just ahead of him. Here comes Kira Rigney, trying to get around Shane Mendoza and Neola Force. Pretty spread out here. As a complete lap 76 for Evie Pearson. Car in the fence, pretty hard smack to the fence. That was Everett Jr. that tagged the fence for a little bit in that Budweiser number 8. Rigney trying to slice through, no dice. Pearson used the outside lane to get around Clark. And Pearson has lapped both their teammates before lap 80 here in Thunder Valley. Glover up next. Battle further ahead here. Everyone tries to avoid going a lap down. Satomi Ray's gotten around Roberto Crown Jr. for the 20th position. Jones is missing a little bit here. He's in 13th. He's closing in on this battle, but it's pretty clear that 25 car is not quite where they want it to be here. At least compared to his teammates that are firmly battling for a top 5 position, really. Hale in 8th, Oldham in the 6th position as they duke it out with Zoe Black. And Tasha Wright, again, not a part of this battle, not on the lead lap. But everyone working around each other at the moment. Oldham takes the inside lane. Violet Hale preferring the outer lane. We'll see who prevails. As they battle, they will fall further behind. Car down pit lane, that is Dominguez. Sienna battling with Zoe Black. Both Lubbock cars there in that conversation as here comes Wyatt Jones. Not Wyatt Jones, Fred Jones down pit lane. And the 86 for Papyrus Motorsports down the pit lane on lap 85. So Black holds on to that 4th position, and here comes Oldham the 3rd. For a way through here on the outside lane. Hale has moved to the bottom. See where Robinson is in 3rd in that 98 car, that Nesquik machine. Rigney is still behind both of the Black Rose Racing cars. That's Carson in front. And then Jace Clark ahead of him. Pearson has already gotten to the back end of Edward Jackson, who is in 25th at the moment. Jack Kreider, Chris Pauley, and Darrell Bird all in the conversation here, trying to avoid going a lap down before lap 100. Down pit lane. Now that is Robinson down pit lane in the 98. On the fence again, Dominguez again struggling in that 66 car. 39th place, 6 laps down, and struggling mightily in that Faceporia Racing Toyota. Jackson defending these in the outside lane. Bird alongside there. Bottom of the racetrack. And the fight continues forward here. 24 cars on the lead lap. Everyone 4th on back, still trying to find a way around Tasha Wright. Oh, and Oldham tried to get down pit lane and couldn't. Oldham missed pit lane. Oldham was trying to get down pit lane and missed. So that hurts. So new 3rd place car once again. Zoe Black, Thomas Rogers battling for that 3rd spot now. Here comes Keisha Fox as well. Violet Hale, Carmen Sienna, Ciara Christensen, Megan Davenport all in the conversation. Pearson front and center as the race leader, continuing to put cars a lap down. Rigney in a very distant second at the moment, and then it's an even more distant third to Thomas Rogers. Over 100 laps complete here in the Food City 500. Just a little under 400 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. We got more racing to come from Bristol Motor Speedway. Thunder Valley is awake to the sounds of horsepower here on CBS. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series on CBS. Over 125 laps completed here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Evie Pearson leads the way, but it is Traffic City here in the last great Coliseum. Two cars up and away the fastest so far in this group, managing the traffic the best. It is Pearson, and further back down the running order is Kira Rigney in second place. And that's a very distant third all the way back. Keisha Fox, Wyatt Jones up has just made a pit stop here down to 31st position. Mr. Oldham made a pit stop as well. So pit sequence is underway. A very sporadic pit sequence as well. We probably should add here. A lot of tire wear that I don't think was quite foreseen here in Bristol. Everyone pitting based off of tire wear. You see Riley Dominguez coming back in, but that has been a lost cause for the 66 team. Practically since the start, a lot of damage on that 66 car. And Dominguez now sort of languishing in the 39th position. And caution has come out for a spin. Levi Allison and Ben Kreider involved here. Albert Nash involved as well. So a huge checkup here. Caution out for a very rare exchange. So let's take a look at what happened here. I think Kreider involved. Oh, this is exactly what happened. Tasha Wright came across the nose of Robert Crown Jr. A lot of places for anybody to go. And Ben Kreider was one of those victims. Tasha Wright is someone else that has also been languishing further back down the running order. Tasha Wright was 35th at the time of caution. 4 laps down. So a long green flag run comes to a close. And while they get everyone sorted out, we'll step aside And come back after 60 seconds here on CBS. We're racing to come from the Food City 500 here on your national network for racing. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. We're at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Food City 500. It's almost showtime once again. Third caution of the race, a multi-car crash that has taken out Albert Nash and Levi Allison from this competition. We get ready to go back racing here in Thunder Valley. Evie Pearson, Kuro Rigney, front of the field. As we go back to green here in Bristol. Pearson's been the car to beat. 109 laps led so far. Rigney trying to get around the 81. The field has been reset and put back together. Rigney gets ahead on the outside lane. Violet Hale up to third. See the traffic jam further back. Several cars took wave rounds. You see Sienna with damage and trouble up the road. It's Dale Bird. Caution's out quickly for the fourth time tonight. The UI situation there, it is Bird, Christensen, and Jack Kreider. And Bird tries cutting across the nose of the 87 to no avail. Pretty good look from the skybox here high above. But unfortunately, that does put us under caution for the fourth time tonight. And so the reset begins again. So we'll step aside one more time while they get things resettled here. Fourth caution tonight, a spin started by Daryl Bird trying to clear himself on Sarah Christensen. Becomes a bit of a traffic jam. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Under caution for the fourth time. Extended delay here on this fourth caution. Jack Kreider falling out due to an engine failure, taking a little bit extra time to get this cleanup done. It does get us close to getting back underway. Field bunches back up. And away we go. That was a very messy restart. But so far, so good. Davenport out in front. Not seeing any penalties issued yet. We'll see how that sticks. Right now, Davenport out in front. It's Davenport, Pearson, Rogers, and Walker. Sienna top 5. Oldham in 6th. They had a Carissa Everett. And they are running. Sienna and Oldham down pit lane now. Not penalty related. No black flags were issued on that restart. Everett asleep on that restart. Davenport took the advantage. See, it's not just Sienna and Oldham, but Roberto Crown Jr. also down pit lane as well. Just like that, we're down to 13 cars on the lead lap. Pearson's been the class of the field, 109 laps led of 167 run. Trying to get around Davenport now. It's been the 81 and the 80 that have been the best two cars in the field. Camyron trying to get around Chris Everett here. That is for the top 5. Davenport looking to the inside. Sorry. Pearson looking to the inside of Davenport. Davenport keeps the door shut. Keeps Tommy Ray there in 7th. Wyatt Jones in 8th position ahead of Zoe Black. Cole Matthews getting up into the 9th position, it looks like here. The battle between Jace Clark, BK Glover, and Leo Carson to the first car lap down is also underway there. Fox in the 11th position. Neil Forrest in 12th on the lead lap. And your last car on the lead lap, I do believe, is the 24 Violet Hale, who had to come back down pit lane under caution for a loose wheel, but remains on the lead lap at this point. More cars down pit lane. Tasha Wright and Matilda Atalanta. So their days go from bad to worse. Comes Thomas Rogers to the front of the field. Car 2 out in front. Pearson down pit lane. We're trying to hang on there. Sonia Walker, Krista Everett in 4th. Rigney now in the top 5. A lot of shuffling for position. See Wyatt Jones now up to the 7th position. 8th for Zoe Black. Cole Matthews up into the top 10. And fresh tires for Evie Pearson, hearing that there was a vibration on the 81. And they believe they had the pace to get those laps back here in Bristol. And it's hard to argue. It is hard to argue. It's going to take some time. Thankfully, a lot of time left in the race to do so. Fox rounding out the top 10 at the moment. Currently, your first car a lap down is, I believe, Leo Carson. It is. 77. First car 1 lap down. 96 and the 23 already a lap down. Battling amongst themselves and holding up the 2 of Thomas Rogers and keeping him at bay. Drivers fanned out here. 5 retirements here in the race. 35 still running as we approach lap 200. Some of the damage cars further back. That's Daryl Bird with a lot of damage. I believe Chris Pauly was in the same boat. Hill trying to chip away at the cars around her. That 24 machine. There's Thomas Rogers. Quickly on his way. On an island of his own. Davenport holding off those behind. Stone Murray having a phenomenal drive. Arguably one of her best runs on an oval so far. Sitting in the 6th spot. Wyatt Jones in 7th. Sort of just on an island, but safely on the lead lap at the moment. Same goes for Zoe Black. Pearson was trying to find a way to work through the field. Car on pit lane, it's Dominguez. Pearson beginning to move forward. Keep on the 81 car. She is still the fastest in the field, even though she is now 3 laps down. Sienna down the pit lane again. So is Oldham. 23 also down pit lane again. I'm not hearing the reasons why. Let's see if we can get that information for you here during the broadcast. But something amiss on the 96 and the 23 for them both to come down pit lane again. Rogers working his way around the 35 of Daryl Bird. Maybe. 35 is not going to make it easy. That car missing pieces on all 4 corners. Davenport still holding up. Some drivers here as they approach lap traffic as well. Walker and Rigney up to 4th around Chris Everett. Pearson's on the charge now. Keep an eye on the 81. Top 10 mostly clear from the lap traffic until you get to the front. And Thomas Rogers is struggling here. Got around Daryl Bird, but it took several laps. Trying to get around Isabel Atalanta as well. Or Matilda Atalanta, excuse me. Whoa, and then hard in the fence is Atalanta. Matilda Atalanta hits the fence hard there at a turn 2. And Rogers does get clear. Meanwhile, Kira Rigney is in that battle for the third position. Technically, it is for second because Davenport's right there. Everett down pit lane. Atalanta down pit lane for making contact with the wall. Not surprising there. Just like that, Kira Rigney up into the second position as Mendoza comes down pit lane, the 48. Really big opportunity for Rigney to try to go and take the race lead here, with Rogers struggling to get around lap traffic. Pearson onto the bumper of Wyatt Jones already. Pretty wild place here at the moment. We're trying to work through traffic in some way, shape, or form. Some being a little bit better at it than others. As Rigney gets around Daryl Bird, and now has sights set on the 2. See the checkup just like that. Rigney is back on the conversation for the race lead now. Thomas Rogers has led now about 40 laps in this race. Kira Rigney's only led 5. Most laps led belong to the 81 at Evie Pearson, 109. Krista Everett led 27 laps, 14 for Megan Davenport, 8 for Violet Hale. Not many race leaders here in this event so far. Rogers now feeling the pressure. Rigney goes up top. And just like that, Rigney to the front of the field, new race leader. The 80 car once again out in front. Rhythm once again. Rogers still trying to work the bottom of the racetrack. Rigney now preferring the outside lane. Going back up there. Trying to follow Ben Kreider around. Here's a deadlock, though, as the lap traffic blocks the view around the racetrack. And Rogers, using the inside lane, following the line of Dominguez, gets back to the front. New race leader once again as Rogers gets back to the lead over Rigney, Walker, and Davenport in fourth. Just trying to get clear, not quite. Working on it. Brittany gets down away from the one of Kreider. Chris Pauly, you see him with a lot of damage on the front of his number 43 machine. With both high side racing cars still running, and there you see trouble, and that was what they were trying to nurse, the 23 of Victor Oldham. And he's not going to make it back to pit lane. And caution's going to come out here. Hearing a fuel system issue for the 23 has brought his day to a close. So the field will stack back up here. Cars getting realigned in position here. First car lap down will be Leo Carson. He will get his free pass here on our fifth caution of the afternoon. See the cars getting stacked up here and getting realigned before pit stops begin. We're almost to the halfway point here in the Food City 500. So we'll step aside for a word from your local station. Stay tuned here on CBS for more after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Food City 500 about to go back underway. It's Kira Rigney and Thomas Rogers set to lead the field to the green for this upcoming restart. Everyone back in position. It's time to go racing once again. We've got cars at the front of the field. We're back underway here in Bristol. Rogers gets to the front pretty quickly there. Stafford trying to navigate Carmen Sienna down pit lane again. 96 not having a great time. Rogers and Rigney, though, having a way better time than everybody else. Front of the field for them. As battle for third goes on between Davenport and Sonia Walker, and Davenport wins that exchange this time around. Wyatt Jones up into the top 5. Violet Hale in the 6th position. That team's lost one car, a fuel system failure for the 23 that they have been trying to nurse throughout the race. Completely fell apart, leading to our 5th caution of the event. But they're still running strong now in the top 10, battling for the 5th position. First car lap down is the 87 Ciara Christensen, as she tries to move forward here. Chris Pauly also a lap down at the moment. Tommy Ray top 10, as well as Zoe Black. Very needed races for them. These two have set sail pretty quickly. Pearson trying to work through the field. Took a wave around. This one a little bit older tires. But trying to work back forward here. Leaning on in that outside lane pretty hard to get around both Cording and Delahaye. Ryan Jones, a little bit of separation now. Keisha Fox on the surge forward, got around Violet Hale for that 6th spot. Christensen trying to race her lap back the hard way. Wyatt Jones a little wiser to it. Jumps to the outside lane to defend and use momentum to stay ahead here. Keisha Fox jumps to the outside lane. No dice, though, and trying to make progress on getting around the 87. As we come around to complete the half distance here in Bristol. Pearson working around BK Glover, who also took away for a round to get back on the lead lap here. Leo Carson got the free pass. He was on the lead lap as well, although he has struggled with traffic. Racing in the top 10. Losing touch with Zoe Black, but also not in the grasp of those a lap down. You see this battle for first and second. Now has caught up to lap traffic. These two exchanging the lead back and forth now. Rigney on the inside lane, Rogers on the outside lane. Rigney following the 96 of Sienna. Rogers hitched his horse to the 79 of Delahaye. And the inside lane is the one prevailing so far. Rogers swoops in and gets around the 79 of Delahaye. Sienna's not had a great race, but she knows how to pick the lanes to get around cars here. Pick the inside lane to get around Delahaye. Pick the outside lane to get around Dominguez. Not bad. Rogers will get back to the race lead as well, with Rigney stuck behind the 33 of Glover. And Glover goes back a lap down. And caution has come out in a big way. That is Cole Matthews recovering from a spin. What happened to Cole Matthews here? What did he get himself collected in? He was up near the front of the line. Does it have to do with Chris Pauly? No, he got helped by Roberto Crown Jr. and spun around. That's exactly what happened. Wow. Roberto Crown Jr. just straight up dumped the 15 of Cole Matthews. And now the field is a little bit more reset. Cole Matthews was on the lead lap at the time of that caution coming out. Now he's not. And that is, I think, a little bit devastating. BK Glover will be the first car a lap down. So BK Glover will get the wave around here. But we have crossed the halfway point here in Bristol. So let's step aside while they get everything cleaned up so we can get back underway here in Thunder Valley. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. We're getting ready to go back racing here in Thunder Valley. Kira Rigney at the front of the field. Violet Hale in second. Leo Carson in third. Thomas Rogers, Sonia Walker, Wyatt Jones right out your top six as we get ready to go back racing for our sixth caution of the night. The spin by Roberto Crown Jr. on Cole Matthews gets us back underway, though. Foes fighting at the front. Hale in the 24, Rigney in the 80. The outside lane prevailing that time as Violet Hale leads the lap here in Bristol. Wyatt Jones down pit lane. No penalty for him, so something has to be amiss on the 25 car. Rogers up to second, but Hale leads. Roberto Crown Jr. is serving a drive-through for that cause of a collision, causing a caution there with Cole Matthews, so that one is a penalty. Not the case for Wyatt Jones. Too wide for a moment as Keisha Fox tries to work through some traffic here. Lead lap there. That's Neela Forrest in 10th. Battle for second, reaching in behind Violet Hale between the 80 and the 2. Krista Everett down pit lane, the 3. Getting the Hunter also down pit lane. Another car down pit lane. Who was that down pit lane as they go 3 wide? Dominguez again. And they're still through wide, trying to work around Chris Pauly and Daniel Molina. And eventually it does get itself sorted out. A little bit sketchy for a moment. Still according the first car a lap down, so there is a reason to fight back there. Keep an eye on the 81. Pearson back on lead lap, and now with the race leaders. Trouble! A little bit of smoke, and that's Rigney. That's the 80. And the caution's out. A lot of front impacts to the 80. Something happens to send the 80 around. And it's exactly what happened for Roberto Crown Jr., Turin Cole Matthews. Same things happen here. Rogers just turns the 80 of Kira Rigney in that battle for second. Setting the tone. And if they penalize Roberto Crown Jr. for it, they're probably going to penalize Thomas Rogers for it as well. And Rogers does have some damage on that 2 car. Hale comes down pit lane. Rogers stays out. But a black flag has been issued. Thomas Rogers will have to come down pit lane under green to serve. A stop-go penalty for causing an accident. We approach lap 300 here in Bristol. We'll step aside for a quick break and come back for more racing here from Thunder Valley. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Megan Davenport leads the way for the Food City 500 as we get close to getting back underway. It is Davenport, Satomi Ray, and Neola Forrest, your top 3. As we get ready to go back racing. Sonia Walker, Keisha Fox, Zoe Black, your top 6. Green flag flies away we go. Davenport out in front. Walker second. Ray up to third. Here comes Zoe Black. But contact for the back, that was Colton Matthews and Chris Pauly making contact. Rogers, you just saw him down the pit lane, serving that penalty for causing a collision with Kira Rigney. Matthews trying to strong arm his way forward around Violet Hale. The other car down pit lane, that was, I believe, Matilda Adelante. And here comes Rigney down pit lane. Not sure what the issue is for the 80, but down pit lane again for car 80. And the race going from bad to worse for Kira Rigney. Less than 200 laps to go here in Bristol. high above. Out here, Zoe Black battling with Ciara Christensen. Both of them behind Evie Pearson. Pearson stuck behind Somi Ray, who likewise is stuck behind Matilda Atalanta. Here we go. Whoa. Pearson over unders. Somi Ray, and caution has come out. So it ends up being for nothing. Not sure why the yellow has come out here. They are saying for debris. So while that goes on, they'll clean that up and get right going. So we'll step aside real quick and get back going ourselves here in Bristol. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series. Apologies for the technical issues. Hope you all were enjoying the Serie A matchup between Juventus and Inter Milan. We are about to go back racing. We had a caution that is now apparently over with the pace car still on the racetrack. But it is Violet Hale at the front of the field. And I figured it was a jump start there. Not sure what those drivers were thinking. Violet Hale, I believe Satomi Ray, and Evie Pearson all jumped the start. So penalty is being served. It is now Ciara Christensen out in front. As this wacky race here in Bristol continues. There's Christensen out in front right now, ahead of Sonia Walker. Kira Rigney in third. Keisha Fox in fourth. Zoe Black in fourth. BK Glover moving into the top five here. And caution is out again. Whoa, trouble. Ray and Ben Kreider in the fence. I think it was Carissa Everett, the epicenter of this caution. It 100% was. Very confusing to see how well this all played out. Kreider up top. Oh, Kreider tagged off the fence. Then clipped Carissa Everett. Nowhere for Celine Robinson to go. And so trouble again. This is our 12th yellow of the race here in Bristol. It's become the epicenter of trouble. So we're under caution here. We will step aside, let you enjoy more Serie A action between Inter Milan and Juventus here on CBS. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just about 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Getting ready to go back racing. It is Sonia Walker at the front of the field, ahead of Ciara Christensen. Kira Rigney and Keisha Fox. As the book gets ready to go back racing, we're underway. Let's get back to it. Easy restart there for the 87 of Ciara Christensen as they now have to navigate the 98, the wounded car of Celine Robinson, who just came out of pit lane. Madhouse further back down the running order, as they also have to navigate traffic. Robinson back down pit lane. Saw a puff of smoke. No caution, though. So we'll stay green. Christensen, Walker, Rigney in third, Fox in fourth, Glover in the top 5. So Black battling for 6th there with the bumperless Chris Pauley. Megan Davenport in the 8th spot, after serving a penalty for causing an accident. Thomas Rogers down in the 15th spot. Yellow Force in the 9th position. So in case you were unable to follow through, I know a lot of our audience here in the U.S. may not have been able to. Trouble pretty frequently during the technical interruption that we had here at Bristol. Several cars out of the race, not all wreck related. Wyatt Jones, the fuel issue that affected Victor Oldham III, also has affected Wyatt Jones. The 25 car is done for the day. Evie Pearson, we thought, came down pit lane to serve a penalty. That is not the case. A suspension failure for the 81 on the right rear, causing the 81 to retire for the second time in 2 races. Pearson start in the AT&T Cup Series promising, without results here in the Cup Series. A lot of damaged race cars under caution. You're looking at them here, Ben Kreider, Celine Robinson. Those 2 cars have been pretty routine. But everyone largely struggling here in Bristol. Ciara Christensen catches up to the 34 of Daniel Molina. And what gets us here to this point, 123 laps to go, is about 12 cars on the lead lap. Make that 10 cars on the lead lap here. From Christensen down to Violet Hale. A very intense, a very bitter race as Molina tags the fence. Tempers have flared pretty significantly here, both on and off the track here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're down to 29 cars still running. Retirements include Evie Pearson, Jace Clark, Taylor Cording, Wyatt Jones, Roberto Crown Jr., Victor Oldham, Jack Kreider, Edward Jackson, Albert Nash, Levi Allison, and Gavin Gray. Right now it is a former champion out in front, Ciara Christensen. Christensen out in front by about 3 seconds over Sonia Walker, who is still stuck behind the 34 of Daniel Molina. Here comes Kira Rigney. trying to get through this lap traffic and try to charge forward to the front. And Brittany's going to do exactly that. Car 80 gets clear. And down pit lane goes Rigney. Confusion continues here. Everyone trying to get used to where we're at right now. Sarah Christensen leads the way, working through lap traffic. Walker has gotten around Daniel Molina for second place. It feels like the damage could already be done, even though we have over 100 laps to go still here in Bristol Motor Speedway. Okay, Glover in the 4th position behind Keisha Fox. Keisha Fox in 3rd. But there's a battle there for the top 5. That is between Glover, Davenport, and Chris Pauley, who has been very impressive despite the damage on that 43 car. He is on the lead lap in the top 6, and he's competitive. He's not just there because of strategy. He is racing his way to the front. Zoe Black in 7th. Neil LaForce also without a lot of the front of that race car in the top 10. Ninth place, you have to travel all the way down to Violet Hay. Oh. Walker chipping away around Delahaye and around Leo Carson, who is in the 13th spot now. Glover in 4th, Megan Davenport in 5th, with Chris Pauley in that 6th spot, just continuing to apply pressure. And Christian will have a little bit more work to do here as we approach 101 laps to go. Henderson doing, I think, a pretty decent job navigating through the traffic at the moment. It looks like there should still be a pit stop in this race with less than 100 laps to go. Now, I think really in the thick of it here, as cars battle in front. I think the saving grace is that Christian's not alone in that battle. Walker has still not been able to find a way around Leo Carson. I'm trying to battle to stay on the lead lap here. Traffic has been as it usually is here in Bristol, traffic has been the number one topic. And has been a gift for some, a curse for others. Christian gets clear of Atalanta, and likewise of Hale and Cole Matthews. Now she's got to deal with the 66 of Riley Dominguez, who is 17 laps down, I should say, in the 66 car. Through to see what battles we got going on here. Further down the running order. Chris Pauly has lost touch with BK Glover and with Megan Davenport, 4th and 5th. Still sitting in the 6th spot, a little bit closer to Zoe Black in that conversation. Dominguez doing a good job of keeping Christensen at bay at the moment. 17 laps down, not really much of a difference at the moment. Christensen on an island leading the way. High above, you see a little bit of the sparsity in the traffic here. Pretty good battle here between Force and Pauly. A little bit of contact there between Carissa Everett and Chris Pauly. And patience has been the name of the game the second half of this race so far. Neil Force up into the top 5. Chris Pauly still in the 6th position. They got around BK Glover. Christensen trying to get a very rare stat. Has gotten to the tail of this group and is getting dangerously close to putting a lot more cars a lap down here. Christensen again working right now. Got around the 33 of Glover, got around the 36 of Zoe Black. Now working to try to get around Chris Pauly. We're at 60 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. We're going to step aside for our last break for our local station. Stay tuned here on CBS. Welcome back, everyone, to the AT&T Cup Series here on CBS. Under caution during that local station break for multi-car crash involving Darrell Everett Jr., Ben Kreider, and Celine Robinson. All three out in the last 50 laps here in Bristol. We're back underway. Sonia Walker out in front. Davenport battling with Christensen for second. Cars at the front of the field here. Walker trying to steal a win. Christensen led 98 laps in the intervening period, but has now been passed for second by Davenport. Laps to go. That coming to 38 laps to go, actually, if we want to be precise. Christensen getting up to speed here. Back on the bumper of Davenport. Keisha Fox in fourth. BK Glover in the top 5. Pauly in 6th. Zoe Black 7th. Neela Force in 8th. Kara Rigney in 9th. Violet Hale in the top 10, but in a lot of traffic here. All eyes on Sonia Walker, the defending Cup Series champion, trying to grab a race win in a very chaotic and very frustrating race for multiple drivers throughout this field, who are really looking to go beyond the short ovals. They're looking at Nashville and Talladega the next couple weeks with open arms. Not have the pace to contend with Walker at the moment. That much is pretty clear. Just trying to hold on to that second spot. Christensen needs to think smart here. You don't want to lose third to Keisha Fox here. Just like that, traffic now a factor. Walker made pretty quick work of most of it. Now stuck behind the 48 of Shane Mendoza. Meanwhile, Davenport trying to make quick work of Caitlin Hunter. And does. Oh, and here we go. A chance for the race lead with less than 30 to go. Walker just a little bit more timid on the work through the traffic. And Davenport out in front. The rookie now leads, coming to 26 laps to go. And Christensen now sees the eye on the prize. The race lead now 100% right in front of her. But there's more lap traffic. Violet Hale has struggled to maintain pace. 10th place. Got the wave around under the caution that happened during the commercial break. Has not been able to do anything with it. A lot of wounded race cars, though, is going to block up traffic once again. Davenport being precise. Violet Hale puts middle 3 wide into the equation. between Bird and Atalanta. Christensen goes high. Davenport goes low. Keisha Fox in trouble! What a save! Violet Hale was trying to move everyone out of the way. Christensen out in front again. And Christensen gets to the bottom of the racetrack. Davenport catches back up. Fox in third. Walker in fourth. Where do you go to try to get an advantage? You imagine the inside line would move a little bit faster, but it's not. Davenport led that lap. And it's all about working traffic now. Davenport having to deal with Atalanta. Christensen having to deal with Hale and Sienna. Nobody wants to give an inch. Here comes Walker to the equation. It's 2-on-2. Inside versus outside lane. I think Davenport's got the advantage. I do believe that's the case. That is Leo Carson that is going pretty slow. 2 Black Rose Racing cars out. Carson's the only Black Rose Racing car left in the race. In the 11th spot. Christensen has to wait to get through the traffic. Davenport and Walker get through. Laps tick down. Now there's a bit of a buffer between Christensen in third and then Sonia Walker in second. That's Sienna in the 96. Walker goes topside. Davenport stays on the inside lane. Walker goes way up the racetrack here and shoots to the front of the lead once again. Christian's going to try to follow through. Davenport gets in front. But now they're 3 wide. And Christensen up to second. Whoa, trouble. Davenport in the fence. Bounced off Sienna. Bounced off of Hale. No one wants to lift. Keisha Fox looking for podium. Walker's clear of all of it. Now has to work to get around Fred Jones. But Christensen moves up to second. Keisha Fox moves to battle for third against Davenport. Ahead of Fox right now at the moment. Christensen is surging forward here. Got clear of Sienna, got clear of Fred Jones. Once again, just one car to beat. There's more lap traffic up the road here with 10 laps to go. Going to be a very interesting fight to see how this all plays out. Christensen out in front, just chasing down Sonia Walker. It is a 2-car fight at the front of the field. Davenport and Fox, the 2 rookies, have fallen off of this battle for the lead. Laps are ticking away, though. We're coming to 6 laps to go here in Bristol. Couple of lap cars up the road. Bird, Tasha Wright, and Daniel Molina. They will provide an opportunity for Christensen to try to get to the front of the field. Walker, decisive, moves to the inside lane. And that appears to might have been the smart play. Trying now to get around Molina as Christensen is stuck behind Daryl Bird. Whoa, and the teammates turn each other. Trouble. Walker gets turned. And this race will end under yellow. Wow. The teammates for Comet Racing turn each other. And that is how the race is going to end. Ciara Christensen, under caution, will win the Food City 500. Megan Davenport will finish second. Third place, BK Glover. Sonia Walker recovers, but will only finish fourth. Zoe Black in fifth. Sixth, Keisha Fox with a lot of damage on her 97 machine. And that 97 actually coming down pit lane. That may be curtains for the 97. It'll move Chris Pauly up a spot to 7th. Neil LaForce will move up to 7th from 8th. Chris Pauly will move up to 6th. And Kira Ridney will move up to the 8th position from 9th. Devastating way to see this race come to a close. 2 laps to go, and it'll all be under yellow. Violet Hale will be 10th, the first car off the lead lap. Satomi Ray in 11th. Cole Matthews 12th, ahead of Leo Carson, Thomas Rogers, Carissa Everett, Max Kuhn, Delana Delahaye, Fred Jones, and Carmen Sienna, your top 19. Shane Mendoza will finish 20th here in Bristol. Daryl Bird, Tasha Wright, Daniel Molina, Caitlin Hunter, Riley Dominguez, and Matilda Atalanta, the last classified finishers, 26 of 40, with 14 dropping out. White flag is in the air. We are on the final lap, and we will end under caution here in Bristol. Your retirements, they are pretty well enumerated. Daryl Everett Jr., Celine Robinson, Ben Kreider, Evie Pearson, Jace Clark, Taylor Cording, Wyatt Jones, Roberta Crown Jr., Victor Oldham III, Jack Kreider, Edward Jackson, Albert Nash, Levi Allison, Gavin Gray. Your 40 cars that started here in Bristol. A messy race, a sloppy race. 'Tis as often the case at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Ciara Christensen is victorious for the first time for Mercedes-Benz in the AT&T Cup Series. A historic moment for Mercedes-Benz. Their 4th race in the competition, and they are victorious here in Thunder Valley. That'll conclude the race here in Bristol. Join us again next week in Nashville. Here on CBS with AT&T Cup Series. On behalf of everyone here for Horizon Corporation, the AT&T Cup Series, and all of its partners, stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.